Hi, besties. You've found your community bestie to share thoughts and opinions, recap the shows we love,
Having too much fun.
Bravo should be fun, and have piping hot gossip sessions about the celebrities and Bravo lebs we love, hate, and love to hate. He went on a podcast claiming he had a threesome with two women from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Immediately, I was like, I wonder if it's Brandy and Carlton.
I'm Caitlin Marshall, your pop culture and Bravo bestie. Allegedly allegations. And if you enjoy fun conversation between friends, listening to your bestie rant about shows we can't get enough of, plus enjoy a little bit of, well, ridiculousness.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. There's a spider that is coming down. Hold on.
It's like the Blair Witch Project.
Oh my God. Has anybody seen my ring?
Oh my God.
I don't want to ruin the party or anything.
Have you seen my ring? Oh my God. Can you look on the floor for my ring? God, someone's gonna kill me.
Don't mess with me because I will come.
What? Oh.
Feel free to leave that in for whatever entertainment purposes.
You're in the right place. So thanks for joining me on Besties by Bravo. Hi, besties. Thank you for joining me today. It's Thursday, September 12th. I almost said Tuesday. Yeah, it's been one of those days. When is it not for me? Okay. My poor little guy had a hard time being dropped off at school this morning, and it was, I hate to say it this way, but my mama heart was just broken. Okay. Let's jump into it, shall we, friends? Also, I'm going to be I'm not going to be recapping it. I'm going to be covering some of the latest tea on Mom Talk, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. If you're not watching it, oh my God, please watch it. It is so good. And I'm sure your social media feed is literally so inundated with it. I'm going to get to that at the end of the show. But let's kick things off with Wig. Yeah. Kim Zolciak-Biermann. Honey, there's so much to say about Kim Zolciak. So much. It's just sometimes overwhelming how much there is to say. And she always has a lot to say. And TMZ caught up with her outside of LAX. Y'all, she went off about Kroy. So remember Kroy, who is, we're going to call her estranged. They're separated. They're not actually divorced yet, clearly, because it's going to be a long, drawn out thing. Yeah. So her estranged husband, we'll say. Here's the latest. Kroy is claiming Kim is the one dragging her Louboutins when it comes to selling their massive $5.5 million appraisal. Okay, $5.5 million appraised mansion. All right. And so really, he's saying that she's holding out for a better offer, which is also what she's saying, because apparently $3.5 million, honey, it ain't cutting it. So if your house is about to be foreclosed, though, honey pie, a couple $1 million doesn't sound so bad, does it? But no, Kim's going to keep standing that ground. So Kim did her whole thing in front of the paparazzi there at LAX. And she says that she has been the one footing all of the bills, buying the kids' clothes, and even claims that Brielle, her daughter Brielle, that Kroy adopted, and so she's now Brielle Biermann, has been contributing more financially than Kroy. And let's let that sink in for a sec. Okay. She's 26 years old. Can you imagine your 26-year-old daughter having to step in while your ex is allegedly not paying for a single thing aside from maybe like 2 electric bills, according to Kim? Now, she was very quick to clarify. She's not out partying. Oh, no. She's at home taking care of the 4 kids. Girl, I don't know when you would have time to party with all the mouths you have to feed. And we're not including all the dogs, but hey, she was in Los Angeles and not at home with the kids. So that's basically the point that Kroy's lawyer made when he hit back at her, saying that she's delusional. And he basically threw shade at Kim for doing her interviews from the airport while Kroy is at home in Georgia, quote unquote, working hard and taking care of the kids. So you've got Kroy at home working 40 plus hours a week and Kim sort of jet setting around. I don't know that I would call it jet setting, but I don't know. It is giving like who is actually watching the kids type of vibes. You know what I'm saying? The McMansion, though, who really is buying these giant houses in 2024? I mean, unless you're watching Selling Sunset, you would probably say nobody, and apparently no one is wanting to buy their home. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like trying to resell a Birkin in a recession. Because, I mean, let's just say theoretically that the Birkin is real. Okay. Anywho, we're going to move on to our next little disaster here. Jax and Brittany. Well, okay, let's talk about Jax. So he is, again, out of the inpatient therapy, but not really out of the woods yet, my friends. So basically, just when you thought Jax was on the up and up, we know Brittany filed for divorce. I mean, y'all, if I had $1 for every single time a Bravo couple got a divorce, I might actually be able to afford Kim Zolciak-Biermann's McMansion. Yeah. So apparently, Brittany wants full custody of their son, Cruz, and she's like literally, allegedly, okay, put those two words together because it's important, not interested in splitting any of this time with Jax. And according to sources, she's been doing most of the parenting anyway, which, let's be real, of course, it's Jax. So, of course, she's been doing most of the parenting. And Jax may allegedly, possibly be living in the same apartment building that Tom Schwartz lives in because Jax posted a photo to Instagram where he's sitting there looking pensive, doing his model look. And he literally says something to the effect of getting used to this, my surroundings, it gets easier, what have you. All right. And here's the thing. I don't know that it's actually Schwartz's place, but it would make sense. I think I've told y'all before that I literally was like yay close to moving into that same building that Schwartz now lives in. And I mean, literally had the deposit down. So the irony there. They just keep moving into all the places I've lived or almost lived. The apartment was not what we were looking for. So anywho, yeah, people were really thinking that they might have moved into the same building. I know Christina Bravo Babe was saying this looks the same. Now, I don't know. Is it entirely possible? 1,000 million bajillion %. But, going off of the rooftop, I'm trying to recall what that building looked like. And I don't really remember there being any significant rooftop area. This was a long time ago. But I don't particularly remember. I just know I don't want to give away too much about it because, privacy things for other people. But I remember there was this giant pool in the middle of the building, and it was kind of, from what I recall, like in a U shape. And it was a surprisingly large building for what it was. But maybe they added a rooftop. Who knows? This was a while ago. But yeah, okay. So let's bring it back to, in all seriousness, my friends. Jax did open up about how tough his time in therapy was, and he shared on the podcast that technically he and Brittany still have together, even though she's like, I'm not even going to film with you. None of it. Who gets custody of the podcast? Are they splitting custody? Is it 50-50? I don't know. That's bizarre now that I think about it. But he did say he didn't want to go back to the real world when he was leaving inpatient therapy, especially with all of like the drama that was going to be on the Valley waiting for him. Now, speaking of all of the custody, again, Brittany filed for sole and legal custody of Cruz. Brittany clearly feels she's doing all of the heavy lifting when it comes to parenting. And let's be honest, again, Jax hasn't exactly been known for his calm, steady, stable presence. But again, in all seriousness, when you do throw in his mental health issues, and how he came out with being allegedly diagnosed with bipolar disorder and PTSD. I mean, it is easy to see why she's hesitant. I mean, not because of the mental health status, but literally all you have to do is watch anything Jax has ever been on, and that's why. That's why. Okay. But hey, he's pretending to take it all in stride. He thinks he and Brittany are going to hopefully become very good friends. Because Jax is known for being such a great friend. Okay. But we have some good news for our Valley people, at least for some of them. Some of them. Kristen Doute, our special Kristen Doute. Again, she's family. We can talk our shit on her, but none of you, no one else. Okay. If you're one of the Bravo besties, you know, we can talk shit on Kristen, but no one can. All right. So let's just put it that way. Now she got engaged to Luke Broderick. We know her boyfriend, Luke. And well, this is interesting to me too. Her ring. Does anyone from Vanderpump Rules in any capacity of that world get jewelry from anyone but Kyle Chan? Because apparently Luke got Kristen's ring from Kyle Chan. And it is interesting even further for me because remember how when everything with Sandoval was happening most recently, when Luke allegedly reached out to Sandoval saying, hey, did you want to come on the podcast? What have you? And the messages were kind of put on blast from Sandoval. And it looks like Luke and Tom Sandoval are actually friends. Part of me wonders if he was just being friends with him kind of to get that in with Kyle Chan so that he, Sandoval could kind of broker that deal on the diamond for him. Okay. I mean, hey, do what you got to do. Diamonds are expensive. Truly, they are. Now, here's the thing. According to rumors and hearsay, there seems to be extra drama regarding Kristen's engagement, and it actually is from, who do you think? Who do you think? Janet. Apparently, Janet is pissed that Kristen's getting attention and she's going to have this, kind of redemption arc. I mean, she's already been having her redemption arc even when she's our silly little cuckoo bird. But hey, I think it looks like they're probably going to film their wedding. Can you imagine Kristen as a bride? I'm kind of thrilled for this. This is going to be probably the most interesting TV wedding ever. Can you imagine? Because remember how Kristen was so invested in being the most wonderful, perfect bridesmaid for Brittany, for Katie. I mean, Kristen's been a bridesmaid in quite a few weddings from what I've seen. She's, there are those girls we know who literally have a wedding that they are in every 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know enough people for that to be, yeah. I do make a great bridesmaid myself. I'm not, offering up services necessarily. But that being said, I think it's going to be very interesting if we do get to see this wedding. Please, God, please, because y'all didn't give us a reunion, Bravo. So what we need now is Luke and Kristen's wedding and a reunion. Thank you so much. I'll take that deal. Okay, deal? Anyone? Fine. But yeah, I just am kind of like, Jesus, Sandoval somehow has a way to kind of weasel his way in no matter what. You know what I'm saying? It's like he just doesn't go away at all, ever. I want to take a moment to say hello to a few of the besties in the chat. Hi, Adam. Hi, June. And hi, Danny. Yes, I agree, Danny. Camila's everywhere. Everywhere. Okay. Truly. It's just when we think we're done talking about them, we are not. All right. And also, please, if you're watching live on YouTube, join the chat so we can hear your thoughts. Give us your opinions. I love seeing you all just get into it with each other in friendly ways, of course. Like, as in, okay, that sounded different than how I meant it. Not get into it, but like get into the discussion with each other. That's what I meant. Why don't we stay on the topic of, I guess, Vanderpump Rules and all of that? Let's start with Rachel v. Tom Sandoval and Ariana Madix and the Garagos brothers, because Rachel Leviss had her attorney, Mark Garagos, on her podcast, Rachel Goes Rogue. And don't you forget that Mark Garagos is Scott Peterson's attorney. Yes, Lacey Peterson, who's no longer with us. As we know, Scott Peterson was is her husband, I guess. How would you say that? And there's been a lot of documentaries coming out about how they're trying to convince people that Scott didn't do it. But okay, it's always the husband. Thanks so much. But that being said, oh, here we go. Sorry, lost my place in my notes. But yeah, you remember that Rachel is suing both Tom and Ariana, and how Tom Sandoval had even said it's the most evil thing that Rachel could do to drag Ariana into this lawsuit as well. That is for not wire fraud. There's been a lot of wire fraud. Eavesdropping and essentially revenge pwn. The algorithms on all the platforms I release this on tell me I can't say the PORN word, but whatever. I can say all sorts of other stuff. Now, there was something that Mark addressed on the podcast with Rachel, which thank God, because it was a hook in my craw and it was driving me nuts, about how Sandoval had hired Mark's brother, Matthew Garagos, to represent him. And that's the thing. Is that Matt Garagos is a personal injury attorney. It seemed off, but Mark really addressed it with Rachel, saying that essentially, look, this would have been a conflict of interest if we were practicing at the same firm, which is what the attorney in my life had said as well. And this attorney in my life said, yeah, unless they are literally at the same firm, there's no conflict of interest. And Mark was saying, it's not as though we're sitting there at Christmas, Thanksgiving dinner saying, oh, hey, give me the insight on what's going on with your side of the case. Let's chit chat. Let's gossip. What's the hot goss? What's the 411? No, it's not that Mean Girls Mama moment. So anyway, there apparently truly is no conflict of interest there. Now, something that I did find I'll say, I hate using the word interesting, but that's the word that Mark used to describe Sandoval hiring his own brother, Matt, to be his attorney. He said it was an interesting choice, and he doesn't really understand the reasoning possibly behind that, not because he doesn't think Matt's a great attorney, but it was odd. Wouldn't you say, friends? Now, along with that, Rachel said something very odd, and I've gotta I put out some social media posts on this, but I gotta say this. Rachel ends up asking Mark, are we gonna go to trial? And Mark's like, I don't know. It depends. And he tries to say that it wouldn't be wise on Ariana and Tom Sandoval's legal teams. And to do that, I don't know personally what I think, because I don't know the law well enough. Now, here's the thing. Rachel says that she is worried that this trial would become like the Johnny Depp v. Amber Heard case, that people would be there tweeting about it, all of it. Because remember, the trial, I believe, is set. Is it for next year in November or this year? I want to say next year. God, I'll look it up. Just give me a moment. That being said, she was worried about that. And while on one end, I could understand that, on the other, girl, no, I don't believe you that you're not wanting it to be that. That's what you want. Because why would you have gone to Bethany Frankel, of all people, who has been the loudest voice in the room, trying to bring about this reality reckoning, all of it. And then on top of that, now, I forgot to leave out, I accidentally left out the part where, yes, Rachel also hired the attorney, again, Mark Garagos, his partner is Brian Friedman, who are the attorneys that Bethany enlisted to help her with the reality reckoning. Remember that Brian Friedman was representing Brandy Glanville, all of it. So come on, guys. Besties. We know better, right? So on top of that, Rachel continues to do recaps on episodes of Vanderpump Rules, at least this last season. Now, I'm trying to give benefit of the doubt where I can because I try to remember everyone is a human being, no matter their mistakes. Okay. Um, although, yeah, I do understand why she was wanting to make sure they didn't talk about her. But when they didn't talk about her, why were you recapping it? Simple question. On top of that, why are you talking about the Valley gossip? Why are you talking about Vanderpump Rules gossip on your podcast? I understand you got to get your bag. Fine, fine. You got to talk about something. But you were very, I'm going to say clear from the get-go that what you wanted this podcast to be about was mostly centered around mental health. Now, there would have been a way to continuously talk about these things that you still feel the need to talk about, Rachel, while maybe having more mental health experts on and discussing these things. And you could sprinkle in some of the things going on in those episodes. But no, you choose to gossip with your producer slash publicist on your podcast. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay. And you know what, June, I'm with you. I have to say here on a comment here on YouTube, I am over Sandoval. I am too. I mean, aside from the fact that Rachel and Sandoval's girlfriend, Victoria, were going back and forth between Rachel talking about her and Sandoval on the podcast, and then Victoria jumping in the comments. I mean, it's on Instagram. It's just been like, it's exhausting. And the thing is, it can't completely end until this lawsuit issue is resolved. I just and I find it interesting as well because we've talked about anti-slap here on the podcast. Essentially, and please bear with me, I don't need people emailing me telling me I said something wrong again. My God, the time some people have. If you want to email me to ask me a question or be like, hey, can you talk about this or give legitimate feedback? Fine. All right, fine. Just email me whenever you want. I do typically respond. So the only time I didn't was when someone was bitching at me about accidentally calling Tamara's daughter, Sydney, Sophia. Again, I am so sorry. It's a lot to cover sometimes. Anywho, anti-slap. It's interesting because Mark was saying on Rachel Goes Rogue that it was almost silly that her team would come back, that Ariana's team would come back with protecting Ariana on the anti-slap law, what have you. So anti-slap is really supposed to protect people against things like big corporations, their freedom of speech, to where they can't just get sued just for speaking publicly. It is interesting to me because it's not, Ariana has very vehemently denied ever sending this video to anyone, okay, of Rachel that she's suing over. What the anti-slap was pertaining to was the fact that Ariana told people what she saw in the video. Okay. That, I mean, to me, that makes sense. Again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a trial attorney. I'm fascinated by people who are trial attorneys. They are ready to go, man. Hey, bravo. You know who you should be making a show about. And they don't even have to be super hot women, but I would love a show about women at a law firm who are trial attorneys. Okay. Those type of people are, I'm just going to say women. Okay. Yes, there are men who are trial attorneys, but like those women are badass. Okay. They are always on point in a way that not even a housewife could be. All right. Let's be real. I think that would be a fascinating show to watch. Or Hulu. You've been doing this Mormon Wives one. Damn. Just a thought. Anywho. Now, as I'm saying this though, Mark did make a mistake that Rachel actually had to correct him on, saying like, oh, that Sandoval lost the anti-slap motion. And that's when he fired Matt, his brother, as Sandoval's attorney. And then Rachel's like, well, no, it was Ariana who said whose team put in the anti-slap. And then she also goes on to remind him that no, Sandoval fired Matt Garagos, Mark's brother, after Sandoval had gone after Ariana, remember saying, oh, it was all her. She went through my phone, what have you, without my permission. And, that's when Mark had to go, oh, wow, look at you correcting me. Oh, isn't that so cute? I don't know how he felt about that. But what can I say? Like, Rachel, it's going to be a big thing. It is. I'm sorry, it is. Now we'll stick with Vanderpump Rules and all of that so we can move on to the next. But we do hear Vanderpump Rules original cast that we had this last season will be filming this fall. Now, first off, we've got Lala and Sheena filming for the spinoff, and I guess they're technically giving us a fresh look at their lives away from the former servers on Vanderpump Rules. And we know, like Stassi's filming Vanderpump Villa. She's got her own spinoff. Now, Lisa, her flagship show, again, is supposedly filming this fall. Now, the biggest thing is wondering whether Ariana will return or not. And listen, that's the thing. I feel like Ariana's going to be damned if she does and damned if she doesn't. We know she's not on Chicago anymore. I think she had such a fantastic run. And that's just not even a matter of opinion. It was sold out all the time. So what has she got going on next? I'm sure she's got something, which, oh my God, by the way, did y'all see? God love them. Ariana, Lala, and Sheena did a video for PETA. I don't know if this was new. I'm almost hoping it wasn't. I don't know. They were dressed up. They were painted. Their bodies, their necky bodies. Sorry, that's what my son calls it, naked baby. Necky baby. Their naked bodies were painted to look like an orca, because we also know Lala loves pods and orcas and whales and all of that, which, by the way, congratulations to Lala. She gave birth to her second daughter. I believe you pronounce the name Sosa, Sosa. Congratulations. Glad she's healthy. You're doing well. Now, they did this video for PETA where they were like in a photo shoot where Lala's got her hands above her head, kind of like, I don't know what she's doing. Like she's about to dive. And then Sheena and Ariana are on either side of her. And it's like an anti-SeaWorld thing, which the purpose of it, fantastic, Okay. Oh, okay, June. Yes. The PETA commercial is a few years old. Thank you. Because I was like, what? There's no way Ariana and Lala are doing this together. Like there's sorry. Y'all have to look this up. I'm all for the purpose of it. Okay. Bear with me. But it was kind of like, okay, this is interesting. This was interesting because it also would have had to have been before Lala was pregnant. So that makes sense. I just started talking about it before my brain caught up. Those things. Okay. Back to it all. Now, we don't know if Ariana's going to return, but like I said, I feel like she's damned if she does and damned if she doesn't, because Lala was so pissed. And really, Sheena was too. Let's be real, that Ariana was not bringing it with the drama this last season, because she was our main character. And so if she comes back, she's going to get more of that shit. And if she doesn't come back, then Lala's going to be like, well, what about my babies and what I provide for them? I need you to care about my job. Well, okay, so then Lala, you need to care about your job, baby girl. Care about your job. No one else's responsibility but yours. Okay. But things are getting a little bit more interesting because according to TMZ, production crews have been spotted filming at SUR again, but it's not our OG cast members at all. Apparently, there is an entirely new cast of servers, bartenders, hosts, servers who are really just about to step into that Bravo spotlight. I would love it if they'd give us some season 1 VPR nostalgia. Okay. It's kind of just truly a mystery as to who might be a part of it. Now, the SUR Instagram account has been posting over the last year, I would say, photos of groups of people who actually work there. And I feel like they've been kind of trying to test the waters to see how people respond. A lot of attractive people. It would be interesting. I don't know. VPR season 1 was lightning in a bottle, but hey, listen, we got to hand it over to TMZ. They're always lurking around LA, catching all of the celebs and all the things. They're always doing it. But we don't know if this is going to be a spinoff, if they're going to, I don't know, maybe Vanderpump Rules, the next generation. Because really, like, there's only so much left that we can do with this cast. There really is. So at a certain point, what are we going to do? You know. Okay, let's move on from Vanderpump Rules. We are getting a new episode of Orange County tonight. Yes, my friends, we are. Now, Tamra Judge, listen, baby dolls, we know she is always ready to go toes with anyone and everyone, but she's been really going toes with everyone. Like, oh my God, between Jen Aiden, now we've got, again, Jen Pedranti. So here was the thing. If you are immersed in any part of the Bravo world, Bravo gossip, pop culture on social media, you know who Kiki Monique is, the talk of shame. She is recognizable as the day is long. I've met her a few times. She's very nice. She's one of the hosts at Radio Andy now, and she will go on Shenanigans with Sheena Shea a lot. And actually, I do have to say, I know, listen, it's Sheena we're talking about, but something that Kiki is really good at when she goes on there with Sheena is she will kind of edge Sheena toward answering questions. And I wouldn't say she's like holding Sheena accountable in the way that Tamra views holding people accountable. Batch. Alcoholic. But she will kind of try and keep Sheena grounded, which is kind of nice to listen to someone actually do. And she does it in a kind way. So Kiki's, and she's always on top of everything. Like, she is always one of the first, like, anything breaks, she is immediately there. And I don't know how she does it. It's wild. But okay, Tamra and Jen. So we're starting off, this all starts with Kiki being on Shenanigans with Sheena. And I guess Kiki comes out of the Tom Girardi trial. She was there, part of press. And she opens up Instagram after she gets out and she sees that Tamra had messaged her and she DM'd her. And she was like, were you on Radio Andy today calling Alexis a whore and me a piece of shit? And Kiki's like, no, girl, I was just at the Tom Girardi trial. That's not me. I wasn't there. And I guess Tamra was like, oh my God. Well, you know what? I was so pissed. So pissed. I messaged Andy and was like, what the fuck is going on? And that's when Kiki's saying to Sheena, like, girl, if you if you have a problem with something I say or something I do, could you not go directly to my boss and try and get me fired? Like, I need this job. Thank you so much. And that's where this starts. And Jen goes on to the Shenanigans social media page and she puts a comment under there being like, man, I feel your pain. She just was like, same girl, same. And she's like, I need my job as well. She did the same thing to me. And it was like, best of luck to both of you, as in Sheena and Kiki. Now, Tamra, being Tamra, was not going to let that fly. So she claps back, denying that she ever tried to get Kiki or Jennifer fired. And Tamra's like, listen, I'm not here to snatch jobs, but I am here to call out lies and trash talk. And again, in true Tamra fashion, she's dragging Jen all over social media. I mean, because for Tamra, it's like, why not? Jennifer is really holding her ground. She's like basically saying, girl, you can shit talk all day long, but when someone throws a comment your way, suddenly it's time to call Bravo and cry about it. I mean, cherry on top here, though, my friends, is that Vicky, which also on her podcast with Christian, where it's My Friend, My Soulmate podcast, she was asked by fans, who would you be more likely to talk to again? Brooks, remember her ex, Brooks, who faked cancer, Brooks or Tamra? And Vicky chose Brooks. So anyway, Vicky jumps in and she comments on one of the, our queen of all things insurance. She comments on one of the social media posts about it. And she's like, typical Tamra. So because we know it's getting to a point where Tamra is going to go so hard after Jenn and everything to do with Brian Boyajan. I'm sorry. I always butcher his last name, and it should not be that difficult for me to do it. I apologize. I'm an asshole. If the last name is not like written out in front of me, it's very difficult for me to recall exactly how to say it. Now, one more thing. We're hearing that allegedly, Dr. Nicole Martin may not be coming back to Real Housewives of Miami. Y'all, I like Nicole. Aside from the fact that she is so she is hot and she is smart and she is successful. That is everything a housewife's supposed to be, okay? But she did just have a baby, and she did remove Real Housewives of Miami from her bio on Instagram. But y'all, where are the cameras in Miami? I know that they are going to have this Bravo Fan Fest in Miami, and from what I understood, it was going to be very largely centered around the Real Housewives of Miami. Where are the cameras? We have everything with Lenny Hochstein and Katarina breaking up. We need to be seeing Lisa's reaction to this. Then we had everything with Marcus Jordan allegedly doing pasta as he is no longer together with oh my God, Larsa. Sorry, my brain is switching from shows to shows. I need to give myself a little more time in between moving to a different segment here. But y'all, where are the cameras? And Alexia and Todd are getting divorced. Where are the cameras? I need Andy and a camera. And I need Andy and a camera 3 months ago. Jesus, someone do something about this. Yeah. Okay. I see a few more people joined our chat here on YouTube. Hi, Hallie. And yes, there is now a cartoon with either Sheena or Summer in it. Yeah. And yes, listen, Danny, Laura Lee would be fantastic. And hey, Just Kelly, you're in my city. You're at DIA. Girl, that airport. Look out for the Bronco, honey. That thing, if y'all don't know the whole history behind the Bronco at the airport here at DIA, that thing, when you drive into the airport, first of all, it's blue and it's a sculpture. And it has these, I don't remember what they're made of, aside from how everyone thinks that DIA is a part of the Illuminati and that they've even like leaned into the joke with all the construction they've got going on. Everyone thinks it's like haunted and all this stuff. Already I have a we'll call it a healthy fear of flying. You know, like I don't lose my mind, and I'm not gonna getting on a plane is not gonna keep me from getting to where I would like to or need to go. But I get some flight anxiety. And when you are driving up to DIA and you see this Bronco that is blue with literally the eyes, whatever their material they're made of, they glow at every angle and it looks like it's looking at you. And sadly, the original artist who sculpted this and was creating it, it fell on him and killed him. Someone else had to pick it back up. As in, like, not pick it up. They couldn't pick it up. Okay. Someone else had to pick the project back up. So, oh my God, as I'm saying all this to you, sorry, Kelly, that you're about to get on a plane there, but it is a really interesting airport, by the way. It's fine. The Bronco's not, it's not, possessed. You don't need an exorcism. It's fine. I promise. It's all good. Anyway. Okay. Let's talk about a few things with the secret lives of Mormon wives, shall we? Y'all, my entire Instagram feed and TikTok is inundated with these women. And I am not disappointed about it. This is the thing. These women are giving like our very first, I don't know, they're giving a mixture. This is what I would say. A mixture of the early aughts of the Real Housewives, season 1 of Vanderpump Rules, but throw in that they're Mormon and most of them don't drink alcohol. It's so good. It's so good. Now, it's all centered around, remember, mom talk and how the soft swinging thing with Taylor, Frankie, Paul. And listen, this first episode, we start off with a girl talking about her husband, Whitney. Whitney is our villain. Okay, let's just also call her a mixture between The woman from The Help that Ron Howard's daughter. Oh my God. Yeah, I just forgot her name. It's a day. It's a day. It's Thursday. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Ron Howard's daughter played the redhead. Jesus, take the wheel. Let's mix her. Tilly was her name on the show, on the movie. My God, I sound like someone in their 80s being like, "What was that show? You know, that show you went to go see at the theater." Swear to God. Yeah, anyway, she was the redhead that received the pie. The pie. Eat my shit. Yes, well, she's like a mix of her and Janet from the Valley. I think I'm pretty accurate there. Anyway, Whitney is trying to, disclose about how her husband had this whole Tinder scandal where, from what I understand, there were questions of his sexuality, whether he was straight or not, which I'm not going to speculate on because that's their thing. But, we have that first episode where she's telling the women about that, wanting it to be a moment for herself, and Taylor's immediately taking it over. Unbeknownst to her, she didn't intend to do this, saying, trigger warning here, that she was in the midst of going through a miscarriage and all of this. And Whitney's all pissed that she literally was like, let me just take away your moment, all of that. Then we end it with body cam footage of when Frankie Paul was getting arrested for assault, all of that. Wild. And then they had to pick back up 11 months later, and Taylor's pregnant with her boyfriend Dakota, who is walking red flag all the way up and down. Ooh, it's such a big red flag. It's bigger than the house. Okay. Bigger than the house. But I'm not gonna give you total spoilers, but if you are into the mom talk, real Secret Wives of Mormon Wives, then go ahead and keep listening here, my friends. All right. I love that this is giving us still like a little bit of how maybe mom talk is a little cultish. I'm going to try and say all of this respectfully. Doesn't mom talk feel a little cultish when you're watching it, and how we're constantly saying, I don't know if mom talk can survive this. Maybe we need to go on a healing journey with mom talk. Yeah. Okay. So on a recent episode of the Vial Files, which a lot of people are very mad at Nick Vial, I'm not going to get into it because we just don't have that kind of time. Okay. All of the other women aside from Whitney, and Taylor go on. And it's Jesse, Demi, Michaela. I thought Layla was there. Leela, I'm sorry, however you say her name. I'm trying to remember. And I believe Jenn was there as well. Now, Jesse just is like, hey, we forgot that Whitney's even a part of the group anymore. Because remember, Whitney left the group chat and she was like, I'm done with mom talk. Good luck without me. Because now Whitney has like 2 million followers on TikTok. I don't know how many she has on Instagram. I don't know. I'm more fascinated by watching their TikToks, I guess. It's like 2 separate entities here. But Whitney, people have been like digging up all of her old TikToks, and y'all, they are wild. There's a reason everyone's calling her Spatula. I believe Real Moms of Bravo posted a video. And if you were wondering, like, I literally texted my friend Jessie Nails yesterday. I'm like, why are they calling Whitney Spatula? Go ahead and just look at the Real Moms of Bravo's video on it, because all right, cute. And maybe there's a video that Bravo and Blaze, Jenny, had posted where Whitney was doing a parlor trick of a ping pong ball being shot out from the angle. They're trying to make it look like she and her husband, he puts it to her spread legs and she shoots it out without her hands or mouth, is what they tried to make it look like. I'm wondering if it was like actually like she shot it out of her mouth because she had her hands up in the air and her back was to the camera. That's what I think had to have been done. Had to be done. That had to be out. Please, God. Okay. I don't need to see anything else like that. Anyway, so, and bearing this in mind, I did not know as I was watching this show at the beginning that Whitney was the one who was literally dancing next to her newborn, who was in the hospital with RSV, that she got so much shit for. And then she's still been crying on the show about how people are still giving her shit for it, which it still was the most bizarre thing. And I could not imagine on any planet wanting to dance next to my newborn who had RSV and had been in the hospital. She's very odd. Okay. Anyway, so there was something too that I recently, I don't know, maybe I'm late to the party here. Okay. I'm late to the party, I'm sure. But Demi is everyone's like breakout star. They're like, is she the new queen bee? We love her. Okay. She was very, I don't know, she and Jesse look so much alike, it's unreal, but she was very big about keeping people accountable, really, especially going after Whitney, like not letting Whitney victimize herself for her own actions, which I loved that line. But Demi is married to Brett Engemann. Engemann. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Do you know who Brett, Demi's husband? Remember, he's the one that's 16 years older than Demi. Do you know who he was married to and has children with? Angie Harrington from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Angie Harrington is his ex-wife that he shares 2 children with. Just let that sink in. And he's 16 years older than Demi. Fine. You know, we've seen bigger age gaps. It's whatever. We're not going to go after that. But the part about that being weird is that Demi grew up with Brett being a family friend. Okay. So, she literally had like a crush on him. And when he was married to Angie, she was literally 9 years old. Okay. She even admits this openly. Now, on top of that, Demi was married to this guy named Blake Corbin. And Blake, I would say, from what I understand, being Demi's husband at that time, and they had their daughter Maud together, Blake was sort of friends with Brett. I mean, Brett's a family friend of Demi's, watched her grow up. Anywho, I mean, he's not her grandfather or step grandfather. So anyway, that being said, Blake and Demi, when they're married, run into Brett at the gym. Okay. And this is a couple of years ago, maybe like 2019. Brett tells them that he has just gone through a second divorce. So what do Demi and Blake decide to do? Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh. Okay. They anonymously submit Brett for the Bachelorette. Demi ends up submitting what will become her husband to be on the Bachelorette. Okay. And then on top of that, Brett goes on the Bachelorette. It's Claire Crawley's season. We know how that ended up. He didn't end up staying on there. They had to shut down production for a bit, all of that because of COVID. Now they picked back up, but Brett was no longer on it. All right. Now, during this time, Demi and her husband, Blake, decide to separate, get a divorce. She was very open about how she was going through PPA and PPD, and she felt that maybe that's part of what was contributing to their marriage suffering at that point. Now, they're getting a divorce. Then we find out Brett comes back, you know, what have you. And he and Demi are just friends. They're just friends who are single and hot and talk about their divorces. Okay. After a few months, they allegedly, you know, whatever. They start dating. 2020. They get together. And then in 2021, they get engaged and they get married 4 days later. I found this to be one of the most fascinating things ever. I was like, this is the most Utah shit I've ever heard. And I'm sorry, this is not meant as an insult to Utah. I mean, I think it's thrilling and I think it's incredible. Something else that I was hearing about Jenn, you know, Jenn Affleck, Zach, her husband, Zach, I just want to tell him rotten hell. But Jenn, it really gave more context to who Jenn is. Remember how she had said that her mother was literally the cleaning lady in the hospital where Zach's father is a heart surgeon. I'm assuming he's a cardiothoracic surgeon, but I mean, anyway. And she's the main breadwinner while she's helping put him through college and medical school, which also why are your his parents apparently allegedly gave him a chunk of money to help pay for medical school. And there's maybe allegedly some question as to what happened to that money. You know, how he was like also gambling her money in Vegas when he flipped out at her over being present at Chippendales. Now, listen, I'm crazy. Yeah, it's fun. It keeps things interesting. I'm crazy. I would be furious if my partner went to a strip club thing. Murder. Don't care. I know some people are good with that. And I am totally in awe of people having that type of self-security. I don't. It's not because I think you're going to cheat. It's just because I'll just have to kill you if you do that. Okay. So anywho, where was I going? Yes, Jenn. So that's just imagining how mad I would be. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even keep my train of thought. Remember, 6 foot by 6 foot holes that I keep handy anywhere
you wouldn't be able to find a body. Okay, in case we need them, just in case. I like to be prepared.
So, yes, Jenn grew up in a very different household than her husband, Zach. It turns out when she was a senior in high school, her parents lost their home and she wanted to stay at her school. So she had to go stay with a friend. She was working after school, sometimes all the way until midnight. And she would have to sleep in her car if she got back from work too late when she didn't want to wake people up in her friend's house. Jenn had a very different upbringing. Okay. So it just adds some really nice context to who Jenn is. She really was like the sweetest person on this show, and I worry about her with Zach. She did say that they've been in therapy, that things have gotten better, but Zach, the internet wants you to rot in hell if you talk to her that way again. God damn it. I can't wait to see what more the more drama that comes out, because also Whitney was trying to call out on her TikTok saying that she did message Macy before. I forget the name of Macy's brand, but like the mommy nutrition, prenatal stuff brand, her launch party. Because remember, Macy and Whitney were supposed to be like besties, and Whitney showed a screenshot saying that she did message Macy that she wouldn't be able to come. So I don't think it did the right thing for her, because people are not loving Whitney at all. I think she's about to have her baby sometime soon, her third baby. So I mean, I hope it's not causing too much stress. Just get that little tyke out and get them out here all healthy and stuff, and then revisit the internet, Whitney. But she's not going to do that because she continues to make TikToks like every single day, 5 times a day. I don't know how anyone has the time or energy, but I don't know, maybe if I were getting those brand deals, maybe I'd find time and energy, honey. Just load me up with some Red Bulls. Oh, right, they're not supposed to have caffeine. Never mind. Okay. Now, before we go, I just want to say hi. I see a few more. Okay, I see Candy joined. Yes. Kelly, yeah, we'll have some good airport lore. June says word on the street is that they're saying Dr. Nicole Martin was fired. I don't know. It would surprise me because she brought a lot. That would be a poor choice on Bravo's end. In my opinion, I thought she was great, and she wasn't afraid to go there with people. And she is so smart. She could just like talk circles around people. I love it. And Hallie here says, I used to watch the Vile Files, but he has become very biased. Yeah. I think the thing that bothers me about the Vile Files is that he and Natalie tend to try and therapize everyone. And that's great if you've been in therapy and you want to help other people. But sometimes I'm kind of like, you're not therapists, but I don't know. A lot of people are mad. He did say something I know about Kendall from Love Island, USA, when Nicole was on, that was pretty deplorable. If he comes out and maybe apologizes for that, I don't know what else might have been, there probably have been other things, but I gotta admit, I do like listening to the podcast, but his episodes are super long, like sometimes 2 hours. And I'm like, y'all, I can't, I cannot, I can't do it. But maybe listen to it at faster speed. I don't know. People probably do that to me, which fine. Just consume however you want, as long as you're enjoying it. Okay, besties. If you are watching on YouTube, or even if you're not watching on YouTube, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. We reached 1,000 in our YouTube community. Yay! I'm so glad to have this bestie community. I'm really proud of it, and I really love that you all just say to each other, hi, besties. I just love having that like kinship and friendship that we've got here, besties. So please go subscribe, like, do all those things. Wherever you're listening, please leave us a 5-star review. It means the world to me. I love it. It's free. And we live and die on these reviews as podcasters, fortunately and unfortunately, because, it tells us what we're doing right and wrong, I guess, right? Also, be sure and go check out the Pop Culture Besties merch shop on Etsy. Lots of new stuff up there, and it's all designed by me. We have ugly Bravo Christmas sweatshirts, Bravo wrapping paper, some Bravo ornaments. Almost like an obsession, huh? And besties, I will be back on Tuesday. I don't know what date Tuesday is, but this coming Tuesday. Okay. However many days from now, same time, live on YouTube. If that's what you want to watch, see all the facial expressions, because been told my face is louder than my voice is sometimes, and I can be very loud with my voice. Thank you so much. But yes, please come join. Going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard, 10 a.m. Pacific on Tuesday, and it will be back at it again the next Thursday. Next Tuesday, we'll be covering Orange County. All right. Besties, enjoy your weekend. Thank you again for joining, and I will see you on Tuesday. Bye.